When it comes to trips formations in Madden 23, match coverage can be a little bit of a challenge to remember everything you need to know to get those stops. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you a couple coverage rules, maybe one or two of which you didn't know, and this will help you better understand why things occur when you're on defense in Madden 23. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to go over some of the things about match coverage that maybe you didn't know as it pertains to defending trips tight end and Trey Y flex type offenses in Madden 23. So let's get straight into it here. In order to make this particular tip work today, we'll be turning match coverage on. We're going to be breaking down a couple of different things that you guys need to know, the core differences between quarters and palms as it pertains trip sets. We're also going to break down some coverage rules for safeties against the tight end in trips tight end type sets as well, because some of this you may not know. So let's start off with exactly that. One of the more common things a lot of players like to do in trips tight end is go with the quick tight end drag. This is something I see all the time when people audible into this set. They'll traditionally go into something like verticals and then just quick snap. One of the things that both quarters and palms coverage have it in common here is that with this particular formation, you obviously have two deep zones to the tight end side of the formation, but there's only one receiver, or in this case, it's just the tight end flexed out in the slot. But there's only one vertical threat, at least on that side pre-snap. What this makes for is the ideal candidate for the inside quarter safety to be able to take a shallow cross to the tight end. So one of the rules that a lot of players don't know about this coverage is that if the tight end runs underneath on a shallow cross, that safety will match this particular play, which will leave the outside quarter on the outside of this tight end to be able to receive any crossing patterns or potentially take the running back if he were to maybe wheel out of the backfield. So I'm going to snap the ball here, and you're going to see that the tight end on the shallow cross is cut off by the safety that is on that particular side of the field. Meanwhile, the outside corner was able to receive any wheeling action from the running back. So here we go from an all 22 viewpoint. You can see that this tight end on the shallow cross underneath is immediately cut off by the safety. The third receiver on the trip side running the crosser is now matched by the outside quarter on the right side, which was the corner outside of the tight end. And then the running back is matched by the quarter flat. This is one of the major reasons why I typically push the narrative that you don't really want to shade your match coverage, because if you guys get into a habit of doing this, what actually ends up occurring is you can sometimes run into some unintentional busted coverages that you didn't know would occur simply from shading your coverage down. So in this situation, if we run the exact same play, everything's good, everything's matched, except for the fact that nobody's able to take the running back, and I could just launch this sucker out. And unless that player is able to peel off of the wide receiver it was matching, let's say for instance, maybe the wide receiver's running a post or something else, we're giving up a one-play score because the underneath quarter flat was the one that was supposed to match it. So really, when I say the whole don't shade your match thing, a lot of people do kind of take it too far that like you can never shade your match, but like you really need to know what you're giving up when it comes to doing this. Now that's for trips specifically. Now, one of the weak sides to the trips is actually the fact that when you play quarters, if this third receiver goes vertical, in fact, if all three receivers go vertical on the trip side, basically there's a lot of work for this corner to have to get over and match this third receiver, especially when the tight end goes underneath and the safety cuts off that throw. This leaves potential for somebody to quick snap the ball and be able to throw a one-play score to the B receiver because that corner cannot get over to the other side of the field. A lot of players are going to say things like, oh man, that's a busted coverage, match is glitched. Well, really what it comes down to is that the rules are playing out, but you're just not in the right coverage to handle what is occurring as it pertains to the trip side of the field. That is where palms is going to come into play for you guys as it pertains to defending the trip side a little bit better. So we're going to call palms here. And the thing that you guys need to know about palms is, much like we talked about the quarter flat on the tight end side needing to be relative to the running back, in palms coverage, the quarter flat on the trip side is equally important to defending vertical threats out of the trips. The weakness of quarters is that if everybody on the trip side goes vertical, you have somebody that is way out leveraged running across the field to guard Jerry Rice in the slot. Palms is going to be a coverage that allows us to better defend that because the quarter flat actually relates to the middle receiver in trips if he goes vertical. So what this means is that if I were to set up basically an all vertical scenario, it doesn't matter what route combo it is. Let's just go ahead and run kind of like a runoff flood down the left sideline with a streak in a corner. We'll attack the seam with Jerry Rice and we'll use that same underneath drag by the tight end. What you will see on this particular route combo is that the safety is still going to cut off the tight end drag on the right, but now the quarter flat matching the middle receiver takes the stress on the right side of the field to have to run all the way over to the left side of the field if everything goes vertical. So when I snap this ball here, watch how the safety takes Jerry Rice, the quarter flat takes the corner, the safety takes the tight end drag, and then you're able to bracket the running back on the wheel route with not only the free outside defensive back that no longer has to run across the field, but you also have that quarter flat defender that is matching the running back wheel. So the running back lob is bracketed, the tight end drag is cut off by the safety on the tight end side, and everybody going vertical on the trip side of the field is matched accordingly. The quarter flat activates and takes the corner route away. The safety cuts off Jerry Rice down the seam. You can see that Tariq Woolen, number 27, walls off the inside seam to a depth of about 10, 12 yards and then returns back to the middle of the field. This is a great user candidate when you're playing a palms call. This rule set on the trip side is what is known as special check. This is a very, very good coverage combination that turns this corner on the outside into man-to-man on the number 1 receiver right here, number 84. It doesn't matter if that receiver doesn't run a vertical route. That particular interaction is man-to-man no matter what. Let me show you what I'm talking about here in this example. So let's go ahead now and run a meshing combo with a streak and a slot corner route. We'll even go ahead and put the wheel route to the running back on this play as well. And what you're going to see is that the outside corner, Aqib Talib, being in man-to-man coverage on the outside receiver is going to be evident. This safety playing the tight end drag is going to be evident. And you're still going to get the vertical matching of Sanders on the middle receiver if they go vertical, and Sandcastle matching Jerry Rice if he stays vertical, with this player walling off the release and still playing the 3-rec hook in the middle of the field. So we snap the ball. You're going to see that the meshing combo is matched accordingly underneath. The corner is matched, the seam is matched, the wheel is matched. Everybody is in the right spot, and we didn't have to shade our coverage. So one of the things that's really important as you play through this is you kind of need to understand how is your opponent attacking with the third receiver in a trip set. If that receiver is staying vertical or even running to the sideline, quarters becomes a much tougher call because you're having somebody on the other side of the field that has to run all the way over to go get that route, and sometimes that can lead to some lob touchdowns. Palms is going to better alleviate your concerns if everything is being vertical or sideline oriented on the trip side, but that safety is always going to be in a position where he's taking that tight end on the underneath route. I want to now show you what happens if we're in a true trips tight end type alignment. I have one that's under center here, but you guys will understand the gist here as I break this down as well. So again, I'm going to throw palms in my audibles real quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you quarters as well. So we are in quarters right now. And as I told you, if everybody goes vertical and the tight end goes underneath, what ends up occurring when you are in a quarters call is that we're going to see that the safety is going to cut off the tight end, but we're going to have trouble negotiating what is going to occur with the 3 receivers. So you see the tight end is basically cut off, but we have the lob down the middle because Asante Samuel has to travel all the way from the right over to the left to be able to guard that lob. Whereas if I were to call a palms rule here on this and run the exact same combo here where it's just all go tight end shallow and we snap the ball here, you're going to see that what ends up occurring is a better negotiation of the trip side. That tight end drag is still very much neutralized, which so many players love to chuck the tight end drag right away, especially as it pertains zone. you're going to see here that if I were to go ahead and run, like maybe like an inverted cover 3 or something here, what you would actually see a lot of players do from an offensive point of view, or at least what I face a ton of, is hike, let everybody drive off the coverage, throw the tight end drag, and scamper upfield for a gain of about 12. That's where, in a lot of cases, I'm going to say, okay, my opponent is really hitting me with the tight end. This is where I would really like to go palms, because if they're going to do this, at least I'm in a situation where that tight end is going to be matched by the safety. And if they go to throw that right away, they're getting maybe a yard. And that's going to be really, really big, because now your user can drop and focus on the other routes on the play, which are going to be the trip side routes, maybe the running back, whether it's an under center running back on a Texas route, or, the meshing type combos that occur with anything running from the trip side of the field all the way across to the right. You're going to be in a spot where you can better user with the 3-rec hook defender on this, as long as you understand the difference between quarters and palms as it pertains how they're matching the 3 receivers in a trip style set. You no longer have to worry about the tight end as it pertains him running a shallow cross. You can kind of put most of your focus into guarding really the primary threats. Now, I do want to leave you with the last thought. The cool thing about this is that, let's say for whatever reason the tight end doesn't release shallow. The beautiful thing about this is that you're going to end up in a spot where now we can basically still handle the tight end to the corner, because what ends up occurring is you have that outside quarter on that side that can match it. So now you're in a spot where Asante Samuel can take the outside breaking route from the tight end, but if the tight end releases shallow, you're going to cut it off with the safety on that side and take away that inside quick shallow cross without sacrificing your user to defend it. So that's one of the reasons I love match rules against trips. I hope that this taught you guys some things about how to deal with trips tight sets, whether it's trips tight end, or whether it's Trey Y flex or trio, or any of the litany of formations that have 3 receivers to one side with the tight end and the running back split to the other side of the field. If you guys like today's video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with our next YouTube upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.